So what we are going to do here is I'm going to make a video that shows you how to calculate these formulas, and so basically what I'm hoping is that this helps you as we walk through it. So because I realize that this might have been a little confusing just based on when I typed this out and how I wrote things. So I'm going to clarify this, and hopefully this helps those of you who might be struggling with some of this. So basically at the beginning I give you some key information, the size of the population, which is 50,000. Within that 50,000, 15,000 are either too young or retired or voluntarily not working. So that means that 15,000 people are not going to count in the labor force, because if you watched the video yesterday, the labor force is the number of people who are working and have jobs and the number of people who are unemployed, so people who don't have jobs but are actively seeking that employment. Okay, so 10,000 people are working part-time, 20,000 people are working full-time. Even if you only have a part-time job, you are employed. Okay, so if you work full-time, you obviously have a job. If you're working part-time, you have a job. The remaining population is not working and seeking jobs. That means that they're unemployed. Based on the scenario, please answer the following question. So what is Sitesville's labor force participation rate? Now the formula that I meant to put is the number of people in the labor force, employed and unemployed, divided by the population. Okay, so we know that the population is 50,000. So we know it's going to be on the bottom of our formula. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to figure out the size of the labor force. Okay, so we know, so I'm going to add this up here. So we know with of the 50,000, 15,000 people are not in the labor force. So we can just subtract that out and we can see that our labor force is made up of 35,000 people. Okay, now this will help us when it comes to the unemployment rate as well, because we know of that 35,000, if we add it to 10,000 plus 20,000 who are working, we know that that leaves 5,000 people who are unemployed. Okay, so we're basically just going to take 35,000 and divide it by 50,000, and we are going to get 0.7. Now, in there it says times 100, that just will bring it up to a 70%. Okay, so we can just go 70% right there. Okay, now what is the unemployment rate in Sitesville? It's the number of people who are unemployed divided by the number in the labor force. So we already said how there were 5,000 people who were unemployed divided by the number of people in the labor force, which we just figured out was 35,000. All right, and if we divide that up, we get 5,000 divided by 35,000, and we get roughly 14.3%. All right, if we're going to round that up. All right. Now the employment rate. Okay, now there's two ways you can do it. You could either do the formula that I gave you there, or you can take 100 and subtract 14.3%. and that'll give you that. So let's just do the formula that I have. So we have 30,000 divided by 35,000. And we get 85.7%. All right, so if we scroll down, let's go to the next set of problems. So a month after these numbers are reported, a factory in Sitesville closes unexpectedly, laying off 5,000 people who had previously worked full-time. So the only number that changes is the number of people who work full-time. Okay, so you have 15,000 people instead of 20,000 above. So the labor force participation rate is going to be the same. So we're going to do 35,000 divided by 50,000, because they're still in the labor force because they're just unemployed. So that gives us 70% right there. Okay. Now what is the new unemployment rate? So the number of people that don't have a job went up from 5,000 to 10,000. So we're going to do 10,000 divided by 35,000, and we're going to see 10,000 divided by 35,000. And we get 28.6% if we're to round up. Okay. All right. Now the new employment rate, again, we can either do 100 minus 28.6, or we can do 25,000 divided by 35,000, and we get %71.4%. Right there. Okay, so I hope that this helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to log back into the second office hour.